Okay, we're gonna call the meeting to order. 7 PM. And Scott's on video, Mayor Scott, I should say. And Scott, since we can't always see you when we're doing the voting, unless we hear from you, we're just gonna say that you're voting in agreement, okay?
Okay, that sounds good. Can you hear me?
Yep, yeah. All right, so we're going to adopt the agenda. Thank you, Matt.
I will move that so I can get my name in the,
I think we're gonna have to wait till we finish.
That's great.
All right, everybody in favor? The agenda?
I,
Okay. All right, any recognition from anybody?
Did fair, but wasn't girl.
I'm not sure who girls.
It was girls are going through that period, so it must have.
Boys left it, but I must have a second.
They got a long road to Peace River. I don't know if that's better than Grand Prairie or not.
Anything else?
It's worse.
All right,
Libraries, new signs.
I did like that one there, but the one you're talking about,
Oh, it's the one on the outside there town now too.
what? I missed it?
Yeah.
I was waiting for years and I missed it, okay. Yeah, we could recognize that. Yeah, that's good. That one.
Okay, look.
Okay. All right. We have our delegations now, so Corporal Travis Norton.
Yeah, absolutely. Do I want me to stand up, get in the camera, and just talk nice and loud? That's not how much. Yeah, so I think Sergeant Noss had sent over kind of the quarterly reports there as usual. So I went through kind of my own little spin off on kind of what I would think would be important for you guys. So speaking precisely about Q3, which is October to December, there was 300 calls for service in our detachment over that time, and 32 of those were from Stirling. Those could have been, and combined with that, were traffic complaints on Highway 4. We get lots of those because it comes by Stirling. It gets named Stirling. Traffic collisions on Highway 52, the 846, again, Highway 4. We didn't have very many criminal code investigations here, and the reports that we did have come in regarding that, I could tell you, were between basically two households. Just problem places that we go to, regulars, or just kind of certain dynamics that are happening at the time is what gains our attention. So far in Q4, you guys have counted again, and you'll have to trust me on this, 32 out of the 260 qualified service that we've had so far. So about 13 and 11% of what our call volume is consistent of you. Within that is a large amount of well-being checks on folks that they just haven't been heard from family members for a little while. We go check on and make sure it's okay. Another large majority of that, like has been mentioned before, is mental health calls. We within those, 60 some calls for service that we've had so far out here, 10 to 15 of those are related to mental health calls. Those could be anywhere from going and checking in on somebody again to say, hey, what's going on? Are you doing okay? Or apprehending them, taking them to Lethbridge. And the last time I was in Lethbridge at Fishnook Hospital, the wait time was 2.5 hours. So we're sitting in the emergency room with somebody that we've taken there that we know is struggling, and we need to bring them to support systems. And our wait just to relieve myself from my responsibility is 2.5 hours. Yeah. So that's a large quantity of our time during that, those things, but it is something that we deal with quite a lot. And again, I would say the same 3 to 4 people. It's kind of how that evolves and what we're dealing with. So it's repeat people. It's not new individuals in the area. It's just people that are struggling, and it pops up more often, and we come into their lives to support them, transport them, make sure they get help. So that's where a large portion of our investigations have been. A file that I had recently was what we classify as a break and enter, but what ended up happening is the individual went inside, hit the garage door closer, and went down, hit a chunk of ice, popped back up, and was just open for the taking. So somebody walking by helped themselves to a couple of different tools and things, and then left. Other than that, one of your guys' bathroom doors out of the campground was attempted to be pried open. That was in November, I believe. But a lot of those files are, as we come across them, it's usually, is there CCTV? Is there a witness? Most often it's not. But with this time of year, with farmers getting into the fields again, the thing that we want to focus on and maybe put out there is keeping the keys in your pocket instead of on the dash or hidden in the vehicle. We always get that a lot. Well, I hid another set of keys in the vehicle and then they're found and the vehicle drives off. When you guys did your survey, because I got those results as well, how many people, or could you tell how many people had engaged in that survey?
66.
66. Okay. So going through those, what I came through and saw was active patrols, crime prevention with the example of community presentations, and then traffic enforcement on 4th Ave here, beginning school, after school, peak summer hours with the pool being open and everything. So those are obviously great for us to know. I can tell you in Q3 and Q4, we did a number of laser setups in town. No tickets were given out during that. There wasn't any speeds at that time while we were there that was needed for any kind of intervention of the tickets. There were more than a handful of traffic stops where we warned them, hey, your speed's getting up there. Did you know that the school zone is this long? Okay, yeah, education. Okay, awesome. So those will continue. Again, I've got young kids. Sandra and I were talking about this, and I know how busy the school zones get, how busy the pool gets and everything. So you guys have a lovely facility here. That's something that we're keeping on top of and making sure we're documenting those patrols, documenting when we're doing those kind of traffic operations and stuff. And I believe the peace officers are contracted to be in town as well. Is that correct? That's correct. That's correct. Okay, so obviously we work closely with them as well. They're in our office. We had brought that to their attention as well. I can't speak for how many times they've come through town or done any patrols because we don't keep track of them that way. We're not in charge of them, but it is something that we'll continue to bring up and make mention of that. So, when it comes down to active patrols and crime prevention, so those kind of go together in a sense where we're patrolling around and we'll patrol around through the day, patrol around often through the night and roll around and just see a pair of headlights and follow vehicles home or out of town and see what they're doing. So that's stuff that we're keeping on top of. I am the Sergeant Noss proclaimed community engagement coordinator. Okay, and I love that. It's my background throughout my repostings is community involvement. I love to be out and be active in the schools and the communities. Any presentation you want, I can come and I can do that. What I will say is when we put the message out there, we're not the most lovely people that, they want to come and talk to or see us. The most success that I've seen in this community as well as out is when we collaborate with a organization that already gets a fairly large gathering of people once a month or every couple of months, where I can come in and supplement a fraud presentation. That's something we see a ton, and we can never, ever give enough of those presentations because we see it and it's like, I thought, we had this out there in your community. I wish you had come. Is there any organizations in town that would meet regularly that we could partner with and engage with like that? I get eyes. I'm seeing eyes very directly at you there. So reach out to me, please, so I can prepare presentations. I will either be there myself or I will direct another constable that is working to go there and give that presentation. Just 2 months ago, I guess now in January, I partnered with the school counselors and did some bullying and online safety presentations through the Stirling school. So we hit grades 6, 7, and 8. Some of that was targeted because of issues they were seeing within those classes. Others of it was just, it's always nice to get in front, have a police outfit in there and work hand in hand with Claire and Karen and a couple of those people. So that's what my passion is. So please, anything that you can think of, reach out to me and we will set up a date that works. I'll let you know what constable or if I can come out and what presentation would work best for you guys.
We have our phone numbers, contact information too, so if any service groups or to be able to get a hold of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Travis.
The detachment knows, even if you call and say, hey, I'm looking for the guy, that's the community court, they know. Put the note on Travis's desk, he'll handle it, he'll take care of it, do those things. So don't worry, if somebody doesn't remember my name, if they just call and ask for a community presentation, they'll put it on my desk and I'll handle it. When it comes down to like other crime prevention things, like a lot of it does come through tips and tricks of what we pick up on. Fraud is obviously a great thing, but fraud is happening across the world. When it comes down to theft prevention, break and enters, those types of things, it's really a lot of the simple things that do it, but sometimes we forget what those simple things are. And again, I'm happy to come up with brochures and safety tips and posters and those types of lovely things to help with that as well in the community. Does anyone have any questions for me that I can help answer or add on to? Sandra's got my name and family info all down, so she knows exactly how to get hold of me. So I hope you guys enjoyed the presence at the Stirling Parade this year. I think that was really fun to have 3 people involved in that, 2 marching, be one of them, and then a partner driving. So again, I'm kind of we're going, you're coming with me, and we're doing this. So if you guys have anything that I can be of help with that, please let me know. We've got lots of presentations. So that's everything from me.
Any questions from council? Comments?
We're being recorded, so it'll be planned.
Fortunately for me, in Killam, I worked with an FCSS up there in my very first posting. So I got into that role very quickly, and that's where that community engagement side of me kind of goes from. So if you've never heard of Claire's Law, research that.
Claire's Law.
Claire's Law. Have a look at that and the kind of information it can help people in your organization. And that's, again, another presentation that I'm happy to give because I've been a domestic violence coordinator in my previous postings as well. So Claire's Law is something that isn't new to the province, but it's new enough that not enough people know about it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll let you guys get on with it. And you've got my contact info, so
I'll be the first for one Thursday.
you too. Awesome. Thanks so much, guys.
You don't need that if accepted.
No.
Not a deadline.
All right, so now we're gonna move to go into closed session.
I'll make the motion to go into close.
Thank you, Matt. Everybody in favor?
Want to stay after you stop, or you want to?
Okay, so now we need to make our motion, or we did that in closed. So now-
No, I don't make the motion. Let's capture it. So someone can just make the motion.
Okay,
I will make that motion.
everybody in favor?
Emotional.
In favor.
Okay. We're gonna go to minutes. So,
Got 2 minutes.
We're just back to recording here. This so just give us. We did.
I just want to make sure that it's.
Unfortunately, no, my agenda's down.
Seriously?
Yeah, we get to, hearing on?
Yeah.
So we need to adopt the minutes. That from last meeting? Anything? Thank you. Everybody in favor? Okay, is there any business arising from those minutes that we? Or should we have done that before?
No,
We adopted them.
that's good. No, that's all right.
No, we're good? Okay, motion tracker. You know, there, you'd like to discuss?
Oh, Raymond RCP got responded to, so we can drop that one off the list. This Travis just spoke about, because I sent him and Brad an email. I think that's it. I have talked with Greg about the stuff. I told him once budget's done, we'll be engaging, so. If it's approved.
Okay, so. Was that just for information?
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, you don't have to make a motion on that.
Okay, so now we're checklisting. Okay, so we have 6194 that Justin's going to abstain from. Any other ones not written?
No, just
No. Okay, all right, so 0022 to 6193. And then 6195 to 6210. You'll let to move. Are you guys all looking at?
Good thing you left this way. That's the one I can vote on. I can put that on my.
Why did we have to rekey the pool?
Hmm?
Why did we have to rekey the pool?
Because there was too many keys floating around, and we found people accessing it they shouldn't be accessing.
Okay. And then the. We have the water leak on 846.
We have water didn't break.
Oh, okay, that was on Nelson's line.
No, it's the road and the highway.
It was on highway.
It's not a system.
Emergency funds.
All right, I forgot to ask you guys questions. Because actually, I did have a question for the town of Coaldale. We were billed for the new Dayton structure fire.
Mhm.
So why are we billed for the new Dayton?
Because we responded to date for fires. That's part of our fire service area. So we had to call them for mutual aid, because the county departments did not show up, and the one that did left early. And then we passed the bill on to the county one.
And that was a rough one.
Okay. Any other questions about that then? What else? Okay, so then we go down to the bank. Reconciliation. Any questions there? All right. We'd like to move. Matt? Everybody in favor?
Yeah,
Okay. Our account balances. Questions about that? Okay,
Still do some option.
that for, okay, all right. Now we're down to items for discussion. Mill rate.
Okay, so. Let's have an opportunity to review the report. Preliminary assessment numbers are in. This is now based off of not having them input in the system, making the small adjustments we have to make every year. But it looks like all in all, there was approximately just 105% growth in the assessment between residential and commercial. Now, linear took a bit of a beating. It dropped this year, so that did reduce the overall assessment because the province is redoing how they do linear assessment, so we can expect it to drop periodically for probably the next few years, is my understanding. Mill rates, right now, our budget, we sit in that low mid-20s for percentage of our funding that's actually covered by taxation. So taxation this year is covering 24.23% of the budget. Last year's 23.28% of the budget. So we don't use a lot and we have taxation dollars for covering the budget. Compared to our neighbors, the 2025 tax bylaws from these communities, Raymond used 23.51% taxation for their municipal operations. The town of McGrath uses 57.27% taxation for their operation. Town of Moores 40.15%, town of Milk Rivers 22.02%, and the village of Coos is 52.85%. So many of these other communities do not use other funding streams to fund the municipal operation, whereas the village of Stirling, we're kind of in line with Raymond and Milk River in how we fund a smallest portion of our budget comes from actual taxation.
This is operations. You're just not-
This is operations and capital. This is the full budgetary picture, operations and capital. So, and that's why there's some minor fluctuations, because certain years, if I go 2024, we didn't have a lot of major capital projects. So we didn't see the same level of capital funding, and the capital funding we got was better than some of the funding we're getting on our larger capital projects. So we do see some minor fluctuations based on what we're in capital wise. Things that we have to take into consideration is our requisitions and our levies. So all of them are gone up. The police funding's gone up. So police, regional, public safety services, Sherman Guards, all the community services, those requisitions accounted for 1.21786 mils. So that actually translates to 14.22% of our operating dollars that we're taking in on taxation. So almost just a hair under 15% of our taxes that we collect, we automatically give to other boards that aren't straight pass-throughs like Rich Country Housing or the education tax. So these are the ones that we bust out on our tax notice that municipal affairs didn't catch. We'll continue to do again this year, but all those combined mill rates take a healthy chunk of our operating dollars. But so we'll have some final numbers and some expanded reports coming out when we do the tax bylaw, which is coming April 1st, as well as the final budget report coming April 1st. So entertain any questions or comments at this time.
What was the percentage you said that is for all that other stuff?
It is 14.22% of our tax dollars are immediately gone. So we only retain 75% and change of our tax dollars for our municipal operation.
And I know this is municipal education, and then what is the senior?
So seniors is Rich Country Housing. So Rich Country Housing gives us a requisition, but that is a separate line on your tax notice, just like the education budget. It doesn't come out, it's the only other one that's allowed to be broken out separately, so it doesn't come out of our actual operating dollars. We collect it on their behalf as a pass-through, same as education.
Oh, but I don't- Why, like, this is unbelievable, why do people, like, why do seniors and people who don't have kids have to pay that education? Like, I'm just like honestly though,
That
do you
is,
know, is it just?
How would you track who doesn't have children?
So the reality of it is education. So the education requisition is based off of property assessment and property tax.
Yeah.
So the only way to unilaterally apply it is fairly across the entire tax base. The only other way they can fund it is through an income tax levy.
Yeah.
Or if they made it completely fee service based where people pay for their children's education.
Yeah.
Right up front. So that would be cost prohibitive and you would not see an educated society. That's
Then you
basically what it boils
would-
down to.
Okay, I see what you're saying, okay.
Yeah.
That's just what I was wondering.
Any other questions?
I'm good. I would make the motion to accept the report for information.
Are you ready to do that?
Yeah, this is gonna come back to us anyway
April 1st.
in the tax rate.
Yep.
Bylaw. So we'll talk about it.
Everybody in favor? That's the motion.
In favor.
All right, potable water report.
Exciting stuff.
I
So
know.
we have good water. So Alberta Environment, kind of like Municipal Affairs, they do audits of our system. So Mason had a member of Alberta Environment come down, perform an audit of our system. And I can tell council we passed at 85%. That being said, we should have passed at a higher rate because Mason knew more about the legislation than the evaluator. And he challenged her on things. She said he was wrong, and then he looked him up and found out he was right. So he was going to go back and try and get a hold of her to get the score adjusted, but ultimately passed. Things that we will consistently fail on, we'll never get 100% because they want us to have isolation valves at every block. And we cannot do that. And in the rural system, they want us to have isolation valves every certain length, and we cannot afford to do that. To meet their standard, we need about $10 million or so in just valves to be included in stuff. So it's just not a pragmatic system. So there's certain things we're always going to fail on. That being said, the important part, the quality of our water, the risk to public health is non-existent. So we pass on all the stuff that's actually really important. Where we got gone is he had a paper copy of a procedure and couldn't find the PDF copy because it was on a flash drive. And the flash drive was in his desk, but it was a surprise inspection. So we had the copy, but because we didn't have both, we got marked down. Alternatively, we had the PDF copy of one, but we didn't print a copy of it. We had it saved on the computer. So they got us on not printing a copy of it. So it's really innocuous stuff that justifies somebody else's existence within the government. But the core stuff is we're maintaining our system, our new valves are getting exercised, we're meeting all of the legislative requirements that are important ones to meet. And the other ones are more or less things that no city anywhere has because they're such nice to haves that nobody can afford it on the best of days anyway. So all in all, our water quality in our system, we're doing quite well with. That doesn't speak to the state of the infrastructure, but we're in good shape in how our water is being transported and the quality of what we're producing.
Any questions? on that report?
So that operational is. That's in relation to not printing or printing.
That is in relation to not printing or printing and not having valves at every single spot of them.
Oh, dear.
Anything else? Okay. This we have information. I will. Go. Everybody in favor?
In favor.
Okay. CAO report. Any questions?
So not a lot to report, did have a ton of meetings. I can say though that we have awarded the first portion of the water contract tender to Porter Tatter. Their bid came in actually substantially lower than what the budgeted amount was. So we're doing quite well in that respect. So when we took all the budget allocations, they applied GST to it. Without the GST component, they came in close to $200,000 under what MPE had listed for our grant funding. So all in all, quite pleased with that. The next closest one was 200,000 higher than they were. And then it ranged all the way up to almost $1 million higher than they were.
So let's pretend somebody at this table doesn't know exactly what the scope of work is.
So
What are we doing?
So we are getting rid of our old water treatment plant. That's getting kiboshed. We're creating a small shed-like structure and putting all of the equipment from the rural system and our potable system into this one structure to make it more viable. We've also got it built out for growth and expansion where we can remove a portion of the roof and add in larger pumps if need be to build up higher capacity. Then we are draining the entire reservoir, bypassing the reservoir and doing all the structural work which is necessary because our reservoir is at a deteriorating state and could collapse on itself. So that's the biggest, most cost-effective costly component of it, and that's phase one. Phase two is then going down the entire main line and replacing every valve and BOP on the main line. The phase two should be commencing in September, so we should be seeing the RFP rolling out for that here pretty quick.
Porter Canada does good work too.
Yeah, I was really pleased with their number, so,
It's not like Ryrie when they did Second Avenue and they
oh,
broke every crossing that they bunkers.
yeah.
They were cheap.
No, Porter Canada.
That's good. Yeah.
They've been doing the upgrades on the King plants.
Any other questions? Okay, move for information, right? This one,
Okay.
okay, put in favor? God is a yes.
Yeah, I think so. Sorry.
Fell asleep.
Okay, so now, oh, council, okay, our reports. So. Scott, do you want to go ahead?
Sure. Only better know, good service winter. And I really don't have anything to report on other than those are the meetings that I attended. It's their notes. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Justin?
Matt and I attended the Bridgewater Services Committee. Yeah, it's a regular meeting. They hired a new operator manager, with the, Mr. Lowry on his advisory position for a while he's been there forever, but it seems like things are doing really well. They're socketing away money for the event of when they have to upgrade the water treatment facility, so that we're not left having to give money. So we're going to debt for that, but all in all, we're doing good.
That's it. Thank you.
Well, that's not enough.
I feel that's good.
Got a rich house in tomorrow.
Leave it at that then.
The company garbage. Chief Mountain, there you go. Went to the Chief Mountain meeting. I think I mentioned last time, or in passing, they had a fire in one of the trucks when they were loading. They're hoping insurance will cover it, but anyway, they're sort of back up and running temporarily, holding it together with bubble gum and duct tape. And then they had a presentation, and maybe this is interesting to some people. So the way they currently operate, there's a cap on how much garbage that you can actually bring into that landfill every year. If they move to an approval, it removes that. And so for the last, I don't know how many years, they've been getting to the end of the year and we have to truck some garbage to a different landfill.
Yeah.
So they're just paying tipping fees. So some engineering company came and did a presentation. They talked about how much it would cost, several $1 million or over $1 million for them to move from that, what they have now, which is an authority to an approval, or maybe I'm getting those backwards, but
No, you're right.
so there's going to be some more discussion about it. At the end of the day, it comes down to cost, right? So at this point, we're not trucking enough garbage to a different landfill that it makes a difference. But if, say, Raymond leaves or something like that, that may switch their numbers and they won't have to worry about it.
Have they, because they were talking to a company that was going to pick up their trash on their way by from something else and take it too. That came up with the farmers a couple of last year. So there was a company that was coming down doing trash somewhere in the area, that was hauling trucks back empty, and they were talking with Chief Mountain at one point about grabbing Chief Mountain's trash that was in excess and hauling it to another landfill because they make money on it.
So, because they haul it to Cowley right now.
Lethbridge and Cowley are the two.
Yeah, I think Cowley's where they haul it because it's cheaper.
Okay.
Lethbridge they can, but it's cheaper. They actually they do all right with hauling it to Cowley, but obviously you're not going to haul from Coombs all the way out to the pass. So they're strategic about it, but I don't know if it'll change. It's maybe more of a 2 or 3 or 4 year discussion. But as expansion happens, there could be the risk that suddenly that place doesn't have the capacity to take all of the trash that is required.
Yeah.
So ongoing discussion, but I don't think anything's going to change on our end. It did talk about if it does change, obviously we need to build in this extra cost into the requisitions to the community. So there could be some impact, but I don't foresee it happening anytime soon.
I think their overage was, I did the report on. So it's, their max is 10,000.
Yeah.
Ton.
10,000
10, they were like 300 that they diverted.
Where it becomes a problem if there's a hailstorm. Suddenly they're hauling shingles and everybody's replacing their siding. In years like that, then it becomes more of an issue. But in years where there's not some catastrophic event, then we're close enough. It's not an issue. I think that's it.
Sounds good.
Too much. I went to historical, is that the name? Is that historical? Yeah, and they were asking if we could possibly make a post to see if there is any other younger people in the community that would like to come and learn and be a part of the committee. They said maybe we could make like a post or something looking for members
Yeah, that's easy.
or additional members.
We've done that for in the past.
Yeah.
That was the template.
They need some old souls. But not old bodies.
Yeah.
Old young souls, young old souls.
Yeah, old
Young
souls.
old souls.
And we had our events committee meeting.
Yeah.
We're gonna look at Saturdays. Yeah.
One, as well, I was gonna report it was better next meeting. We're probably gonna have one a month. I figure. Well, no, actually, we're not, because we're skipping, but
I
now
think we have one
and
in
the
mid second last week in April.
okay, is that good for reports then? So, do we move? Is that for, that's just nothing? All right, thanks for sharing. Okay. Thank you for sharing. Okay, now we just have our information, so, correspondence. There you go. Thank you. The Ridge Regional Public Safety Service. Their stats. Anybody have any? Do I have to go through all that? Or
We've been
we all
here a
looked
long
at that,
time.
right?
We've been here a long time.
We all looked the same. So he is left.
If someone wants to make a motion to accept correspondence, unless there's something glaring you wanted to talk about.
Okay, yeah. Anybody want to talk about anything? Did you really, I'm sure you liked the FCSS report, right? Everybody
I
like
will
that?
make a motion to approve correspondence's information.
All right. Everybody in favor of Justin's motion?
About the Jen. Jen needs rescue.
Okay. Is that everything?
And,
Council highlights.
Presentation from our RCB. And I would just include in that if service groups are looking for presentation.
Which are corporal voting.
Anything else? Exciting?
Water project. Organ and scheduled it.
Anything else? Water?
Yeah, we got good water.
Water.
Sure.
All right. Last question.
No, you have to put this one first.
Dang it.
I will move.
Thank you. Everybody in favor?
Motion to adjourn.
Do that, you have to wait till I say something.
No, it didn't.
Fine.